The iPhone Air is, to a degree, exactly what we were expecting. Apple's thinnest iPhone ever, measuring just 5.64mm. It feels light, balanced, and durable thanks to a grade 5 titanium frame and ceramic shield glass. In the hand, it is sleek and refined. I have been using my sky blue unit for a week now and it is still turning heads. The 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display is excellent. It is an always-on display that supports ProMotion, HDR, and brightness up to 3000 nits. It is slightly bigger than the iPhone 17's screen, which gives apps, text, and videos more room to breathe, and it looks great whether I'm scrolling TikTok, watching HDR videos, or just browsing outside on a sunny day. iOS 26 feels tailor-made for the Air with its new liquid glass design that looks striking and complements the physical build. Messages now support custom backgrounds, typing indicators, and polls, while the phone app and visual intelligence get useful upgrades. And while Siri's full AI overhaul isn't here yet, Apple Intelligence features are starting to appear. The biggest trade-off comes with the camera setup. There is just a single 48-megapixel camera lens on the rear of the phone. It produces sharp, natural-looking photos and impressive portraits, but you will miss the flexibility of a telephoto or ultra-wide if you are used to them. The selfie camera is excellent too. The Apple's center stage smarts for automatic, wide, and ultra-wide framing, and dual capture is genuinely fun. Performance from the A19 Pro is snappy and smooth, and it capably handled everything I threw at it, though the phone doesn't get warm during fast charging or heavy gaming. Battery life is decent but not class-leading enough for a workday, usually 6 to 8 hours of use, with my best stretch hitting around 10 hours away from the charger. Power users may want to invest in the $99 MagSafe Battery Pack, which matches the phone's slim profile and adds about 65% more life, but it is an added cost. The iPhone Air isn't the best iPhone for photography or endurance, but as a design statement, it's a gem. It feels like the most exciting iPhone Apple has released in years, and while it costs more than the iPhone 17 with fewer cameras and shorter battery life, it delivers value in other key areas. Apple unveiled the iPhone Air at its September 9, 2025 awe-dropping event alongside the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 17 Pro Max, AirPods Pro 3, and 3 new Apple Watches. The Air, though, stands out with its entirely new design and is a whole new category of iPhone. It starts at $999 for 256GB of storage, or you can bump that up to the 512GB for $1,199 or 1TB for $1,399. The iPhone Air is an eSIM only device worldwide and comes in 4 colors: sky blue, light gold, cloud white, and space black. I've been testing a 1TB iPhone Air in sky blue. Apple will officially launch the iPhone Air on September 19, 2025, but it's up for pre-order now from the company's online store, authorized retailers, and carriers. If you are following the Apple rumor cycle, we were all expecting an ultra-thin iPhone to be released, one that would potentially go thinner than the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, be more stunning than the iPhone X, and offer a truly refreshed look and feel for the iPhone. The launch event's awe-dropping tagline set the bar high, and the iPhone Air cleared it with room to spare. It's not the first ultra-thin phone. The Galaxy S25 Edge measures in at 5.8mm, but it still feels as stunning, sleek, and sexy in my hand right now after living with it for a week as it did during my brief hands-on session following the launch event. It feels as exciting as the iPhone X in that it might give us the playbook for the modern iPhone going forward, or at least show us one half of the purportedly incoming foldable iPhone. The photos released by Apple and even those shot by me for this review only do it partial justice. The iPhone Air is the best representation yet of Apple's vision for an iPhone that's just glass. It weighs in at just 5.82 ounces or 165 grams, fully justifying the Air moniker. Much like the iPhone 17 or even Pro Max, it feels balanced, not too top heavy, not too bottom heavy. It's Goldilocks ergonomics. I don't know if I'd quite call it awe-dropping, but the thinness is the part that gets people excited. At its thinnest, the iPhone Air is 5.64mm or 0.22 inches, and the plateau only jutes out of a bit more. I was instantly wowed, and over the course of a week, I have really become accustomed to this look and feel for an iPhone. While conducting some testing over the week, I showed it to my brother and sister-in-law, who were both visibly impressed when holding it. They asked about durability and were a little stunned at the overall feel. Then came the questions about battery life and the camera, both of which I will address below, and whether the USB-C port was thinner. On that last point, it is still a regular USB-C port, but to fit it in this frame and get in this small, Apple's design team started by 3D printing a custom one. And given how thin this phone had to be, Apple went back to grade 5 titanium for the shell and sides of the device. To further enhance the looks, it has a polished finish. My sky blue review handset is different from the MacBook Air and iPad Air colors of the same name. It is a bit lighter and pastel-like. I really like it, and the Air also comes in light gold, space black and cloud white. While the innermost layer of the iPhone Air sandwich is made of that strong titanium, which can bend slightly under pressure but is designed to spring back, it's topped and bottomed with glass and glass ceramic, specifically ceramic shield 2 on the front and a ceramic shield on the back. The rear, like the iPhone 17, is mostly frosted matte glass, while the top bump gets the glossy finish. Apple says the Air is 3 times more scratch resistant on the front, so I've still been careful sliding this in and out of my front or rear jeans pockets, and the back is 4 times more crack resistant. It also has the same IP68 rating for resistance to dust and water as the iPhone 17, 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max. It survived a light drizzle shortly after I unboxed it in Apple Park. The weather's been wet in my home state of Jersey, and the Air has shown no issues when being used in rain or surviving a dunk test. Even given the extreme thinness here, you still get the usual buttons you would expect on an iPhone. Camera control has been redesigned to live on the right hand side, and it's slightly thinner but about the same length as on other iPhones. The power or sleep button sits slightly higher on this side, with the action button, volume up and volume down on the left. The main mono speaker lives at the top of some microphones, and there are 2 other microphones either side of the USB-C port on the bottom. This design does, as mentioned, only leave room for a single camera and likely a smaller battery inside, but Apple has also dropped the SIM card slot worldwide and opted for eSIM to save some space. The iPhone Air is stunning, attracts a lot of admiring glances, and feels like biggest refresh in iPhone design we have seen in a while. Yes, it's the same key parts, just compressed, but in use it feels like the perfect showcase for iOS 26. If you are after Apple's best design this year, I think it is clearly the iPhone Air. For $999 US, it would be a little mean for Apple not to include promotion or always-on functionality here, and the iPhone Air supports both. As a whole, the screen is basically in line with those on the iPhone 17, 17 Pro or 17 Pro Max. The front of the iPhone Air is nearly all glass, except for a thin black bezel that turns into the sloped polished side. It's a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display with a resolution of 2376 by 1260, which works out to 460 pixels per inch. It tops out at 3000 nits of brightness when needed, supports the white color P3 gamut and HDR, and features an anti-reflective coating. It also has the same dynamic island as the rest of the iPhone 17 line. In daily use, the display is really the main appeal here. On paper, it's 0.2 inches bigger diagonally than the iPhone 17 or 17 Pro, but it feels a bit more expensive. It offers more lines of text or a slightly expanded view when viewing a web page. Games or movies feel a little more like an event, and it offers a broad canvas for iOS 26. Lay two of these phones side by side and I think you'd have some idea of what Apple is planning to bring us with its long rumored folding iPhone, and it would look mightily impressive, but we are not quite there yet. And it's still smaller than the Pro Max. Colors looked punchy and vibrant, text was inky black and crisp, and it was a great display for daily use. I found that it got bright enough to battle the bright sunshine of California, the late summer sunshine of New Jersey and New York, as well as bright artificial lighting. I liked scrolling TikTok and Instagram Reels or watching a video on it, mainly thanks to the super smooth Pro Motion display. And iOS 26 with its liquid glass makeover looks fantastic here. I have a feeling that the design team at Apple knew the Air was on the roadmap when designing the liquid glass. iOS 26 is running on the iPhone Air out of the box, and as on any iPhone, announces itself with a hello on the first boot. You will get a sense of the new translucent glass-like nature of the software pretty quickly. It's mostly visible in how notifications refract over your wallpaper or up top with whatever is behind the element. I especially like the way the bottom menu bars look like this, although legibility can be an issue at times depending on what's behind the element. You'll also notice a difference if you use light mode or dark mode. The redesign is only a portion of iOS 26 as Apple's latest OS introduces a number of new features. I am keen to put many of the new parts of messages to the test with my friends and various group chats. With the latter, you will now get typing indicators and you can set a custom background for any message group or individual. This will, I have a feeling, be an especially tough test for legibility with the liquid glass components. You also have the option to add polls in group messages, which is a fun way to decide on activities or maybe pick a restaurant. The phone app is entirely new, though you can switch back, placing your favorites up top, and below that is a combined list of outgoing and incoming calls, missed calls, and even voicemails. It can be a lot to process at first, but after months on the beta, I am more or less used to it, although I have switched back to the original setup occasionally, as the new one makes voicemails a little harder to track down. You can also use live translation during calls, which can be helpful for international travel, and I especially like the wait on hold feature. Visual intelligence, which is engaged with a long press of camera control, is a bit smarter here and now identify events to add your calendar and integrate with apps that add support with the API. However, we are still waiting on the full AI-powered Siri, and many of the new Apple Intelligence features aren't front and center here. This is where the compromises necessitated by the iPhone Air's unfeasibly thin design begin. The iPhone Air only features a single 48-megapixel fusion camera on the back. It can shoot at 1x, a sensor crop in 2x, or a maximum digital 10x, but the quality falls off noticeably with the latter. I'll cut to the chase here. If you are after the iPhone with the best cameras or even just some variety for shooting, this is probably not it. Here are some camera samples of the new iPhone Air. Powering the iPhone Air is Apple's A19 Pro chip, which is a step up from the iPhone 17's A19 and a slightly less powerful version of the A19 Pro in the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max without the extra cooling technology. The A19 Pro here is a 6-core CPU with 2 performance and 4 efficiency cores, a 5-core GPU and a 16-core neural engine. It's goodly faster than the A18 Pro or A18 found in the iPhone 16 Pro Max or 16, especially with various elements of iOS 26 including specializing a wallpaper and in everyday use. Compared to the standard iPhone 17, I would say performance is about neck and neck. The A19 Pro is arguably being used here to help regulate performance temperature. I did notice the iPhone Air heating up during the first few days while it was still indexing and charging, especially from 0% to about 50% before cooling as it slowed near 80%. It also warms up when multitasking with demanding apps at times. For example, if I am on a call and launch a game like Asphalt 9, the area around the camera housing on the rear can get noticeably warm, though it cools quickly as performance regulates. The heat doesn't spread below the Apple logo, and a case like Apple's bumper or clear option helps keep it from your fingertips. Keep in mind that basically all the components do live in the plateau, including the silicone, so it makes sense that the area does heat up. When it comes to non-gaming tasks, though, the iPhone Air handles everything well and delivers strong performance while keeping cool. That was the case with my daily workflow consisting of calls, audio and FaceTime as well as mail, Gmail, Slack, Safari, Chrome, Edits, CapCut, the camera and the other apps. Even with creating a Genmoji or using Image Playground or another facet of Apple Intelligence, the iPhone Air didn't get especially warm. In terms of quantitative testing, the iPhone Air scored slightly higher than the iPhone 17 on Geekbench 6.5 at 3723 on single core and 9665 on multi-core. That's in line with smartphones at this price range, though as we noted in our Galaxy S25 Edge review, that phone has a thermal solution for keeping things cool. We can only guess at the iPhone Air's battery size for now as Apple doesn't officially release those numbers. It is clear though that the company has squeezed as large a cell as possible inside this ultra slim smartphone. Instead of capacity, Apple provides viewing estimates up to 27 hours of downloaded video playback and 22 hours of streaming. With the $99 MagSafe battery attached, those numbers rise to 40 and 35 hours respectively, about a 65% boost. In my experience, the iPhone Air generally lasts through a workday 6 to 8 hours depending on use. That's behind the iPhone 17, 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, but it still meets Apple's all-day standard. On the test, I took it off a charger at 7:30 am and it lasted until 5:50 pm or 10 hours and 20 minutes. At best, I recorded 6 hours and 35 minutes of active screen time. On average, I got around 4 hours and 45 minutes. During my first few fast charges, the top of the camera plateau and the area beneath it did get warm, mostly between 0% and 50% before cooling down. This isn't unusual for fast charging and reflects the component layout. Power users will likely need to recharge by the time they get home. Apple's slim MagSafe battery nearly matches the Air's profile, adding only a bit more thickness than the camera bump. It recharges intelligently throughout the day, manages heat well, and uses pocket detection to optimize charging times. Optional, yes, but it complements the iPhone Air experience nicely. The iPhone Air delivers remarkable performance in a super thin and light design that's very durable. I especially like getting A19 Pro power in something this compact, but you have to make some trade-offs for the steep $999 price. You get only a single rear camera, which means no telephoto zoom, ultra-wide or macro shots, and while the Air's battery life is solid, it's a few hours behind the iPhone 17 Pro Max.